what has been fun in uncovering stories of our ancestors is remembering, right? Being allowed to remember that at every point from 1526 until now, right, we've resisted. There was no point that African people who were enslaved, right, Black Americans who are under the atmosphere of white supremacy, at no point have we ever said, I surrender, right? We've always fought back. We've always fought back. We are entering a season where knowing and understanding who you are will be the most valuable thing because of the amount of effort that is being put into diminishing and or erasing and or silencing Black voices, Gullah Geechee people's voices. I come again from a family of Gullah Geechee fishermen. My great-grandfather started a business to support local tourists who were coming to go camping on Fripp Island. So I call it our bait shop because that's what it is, Atkins Live Bait. And so since then, his son, Ed Atkins Jr., who is my grandmother's brother, my uncle, a great uncle, he has continued in his father's footsteps. He's been a voice for Gullah Geechee people, specifically around climate justice, climate change, climate resilience. Because he's out there, he is able to tell you, I've rowed my boat past Harbor Island and there are houses falling into the water, and every oyster bed along that side of the water is dead. What are we gonna do? I have began to write grants, and one of them that I worked on was with NOAA, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, and the South Carolina Sea Grant. And they gave us $15,000 to begin doing workshops about oysters, about shrimp, and how he goes out and does that.
I'm gonna take you back to the 90s when me and Tracy were high school going to college. When we went out into the world, we would talk about Georgetown. Everybody we met wanted to come to Georgetown to come hang out. But when they came to Georgetown, they all said the same thing. Hey, what's that smell? Why it smell like rotten eggs? That smell was sulfur coming from an international paper company. We were used to it because we grew up with it. But as we got older, we were like, what's the effects of this smell having on our body? What they're putting in the air? So a commission came through some time later and put regulations on them, and they had to put something on top of the smokestacks or whatnot to help with pollution and different things. So that was done at the International Paper Company. Now the steel mill was right here. They were putting out toxic fumes also, so they had to do their cleanup over here also with that. And the effects in the community, I live literally 1 block over from here. I grew up 1 block over. Our houses, not as much on this side, but if you look at some of these buildings, they have like a brown dusting on them.
There was a lawsuit with International Paper Company some years back. Somebody did a study about how many people had cancer and whatever around, but I don't think it went anywhere. Because it just didn't, because you got a big corporation.
So A Better Glen is a nonprofit that we founded in Brunswick, Georgia, Glenn County in June of 2020. And it was founded as a response to the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. Decided one day to get in a Facebook Messenger Zoom. And in that conversation, we started to talk about not just the murder of Ahmaud Arbery, but really what were the systemic issues that kept us and the world knowing about his death and how it had occurred, and essentially the cover-up that had occurred through several governmental systems in Glenn County. And so our work really has been focused in, when we say social justice lens, it is to educate people on the issues and the impact of those that are most marginalized so that activates them towards change. And what's also intriguing about that is Ahmaud Arbery went to Brunswick High School, and he played football at the high school there. And it was his former classmates that really started advocating and marching on the streets. And so we took that population of young people and said, how can we pour into them? And it's also to create a space for folks that have left Brunswick, Georgia, to pour back into the place, pour back into the community. So that's sort of our leadership development lens. And then the civic engagement piece is really just encouraging people to run for public office, encouraging people to hold public officials accountable. And so we've been going strong for 4 years, going on 5.
Audrey and I met while both of us were working in the Charleston County School District. And the funny thing is that people actually used to confuse us because we were both black girls with natural hair.
We knew that when we were in the system that our children weren't being served well and our families weren't being served well.
Around 2020, this was like after George Floyd and the uprisings that were occurring. Our state superintendent of education at that time made some comments about critical race theory, which were uninformed, which were not true. And so Audrey and I had, discussed and formed an organization. We get on the Zoom, and there were at least 50 people on the Zoom, right? So we just knew at that time that this was something that we had to do. And so our work is about how we walk alongside of folks in community to help organize around the things that they are elevating as issues. One of the reasons why we named our organization E3, Educate, Empower, Elevate, is that we know that there's a disconnect between what happens on a systems level and what happens in the community. So our approach is really about how we ensure the community knows what's happening, and then is provided capacity building skills if needed, provided what they need so they can advocate for themselves.
I was doing an interview a while back talking about resistance and rebellion and revolution. A man asked me in the interview, he says, who was the first emancipator? I said, the slave. That's the first person that wants freedom because they're denied that. Believe it or not, 40 years ago, a book was written called Runaway Slave Advertisements in the Newspapers. And this volume is from South Carolina alone. You can see how thick it is. There's a 4-volume book project done by Nathan Windley. So what we want to do with this is that we want to use our resources to just make a simple spreadsheet of this information. We have here detailed descriptions of the person's name, what they exactly look like, the plantations that they were on, even the speculation of where they're going to and how much would be paid for them. But most importantly, we have the enslavers' names and we have the plantations where they're on, and we can track those. And through the magic of AI, digital generated imagery, we want to recreate from these detailed descriptions these people, these men, women, and children who self-emancipated.
The Low Country could look just like any other place anywhere else, but it doesn't. It has a charm and a beauty and an aesthetics to it that is unlike anywhere else in the United States. And that's what draws people here. So when you know that's what draws people here, then you need to recognize why it still looks the way that it did hundreds of years ago, because the Gullah were here and they took care of it.
If this culture is the heart and soul of the region, then we have to keep blood pumping to it. And so it's beholden for people like me who are in positions to see people in different spaces who may not come here first to wave the flag as much as possible.
And if there is no wealth to leave, there is no generation that's going to be able to come from that. I'm definitely, committed to that work. It's not easy. I have a lot of opposition that, try to thwart those efforts, but definitely something that I'm not going to waver from ever.
We're a people of survival. We're a people of resilience. When I say Gullah Geechee, I always mean African American. I always mean on one level, that sort of particular area, but also beyond that, African American culture. We've done it by always having hope and always pushing through and believing in ourselves. Despite the violence, despite the efforts to keep us in forced labor on these plantations, it's the promise of America. And that's where you kind of get to see the course of democracy is reflected in Black faces.
It is said that more earth was moved in the creation of these rice fields along this coast than was used to make the pyramids of Giza. And so I like to think of this handcrafted coast, right? Handmade coast as the eighth wonder of the world. And we did that.